After writing 2 transformational books myself and supporting many other beings to do the same, I've become enthralled by the deep and mysterious magic that's activated when we choose to say yes to ourselves and commit to the book writing journey. Of course, we want to inspire change and new perspectives in our readers, but the transformation that happens as an author, both throughout the writing process and by actually releasing your book into the world, is surprisingly potent. I know I've been blindsided in the most disruptive and delicious ways by some of the changes my books have brought into my life. Writing a book is like casting a spell. Although we can never be completely sure what's going to be unleashed during the process, we choose to do it anyway. This Unbound one is a heroic journey. Each book has the potential to be a magical portal, a doorway to a new world, both for you and your reader. Each book has a very specific medicine that it's here to share with us. And each book gives us the opportunity to alchemize the magnificent imperfection of our experience into gold. The truth is that anyone can write a book. We could all get a few thousand words down and put them together. But what fascinates me is what happens when we allow the book writing process to go deeper. When we say, fuck it, get naked and dive way down beneath the surface. Letting go of the shoulds and any need to be acceptable, sensible, or approved of. What fascinates me is what happens when we make ourselves fully available to being transformed by the very act of writing a book. This is Unbound Writing, and this is the process we'll be exploring together here in the Unbound Writers Club. I'm Nicola, author and founder of the Unbound Press, and I help magical beings to write the transformational book they're really here to write at this time. I'm your guide here in the Unbound Writers Club, and the aim of this podcast is to help you to feel supported, encouraged, activated as you embark on your book writing journey. Whether you're a first-time author or have many books out in the world, my hope is that you will find something here to inspire you. Let's dive in.
Hello,
welcome to the Unbound Writers Club, Magical One. How are you doing? Well,
today
I am
sharing
inspired or
of
at least willing to be inspired because today I am talking about vision and more specifically how to tap into the unbound vision for the book you're writing, the book you've written, or the book you're feeling called to write right now.
Abundance
and
in your life.
Tuning into the vision for your
when
book,
I'm
or
talking
seeing
about
it,
abundance,
experiencing it
as
financial abundance, kind of a part of a greater whole.
Abundance in all of its
seeing
senses.
your book
So in terms of
kind of the foundation
spaciousness,
for other offerings,
this really expansive
in your work,
definition
in your business
of abundance
is a key aspect.
I wanted to share
of the
this
Unbound
piece
writing
because
approach.
the workshop was really
So
powerful. The feedback
we're
that
not
I've
just
had
looking at your book
is
in
people have
isolation.
found it
Your book
really,
is
really
not just a
beneficial.
book.
And I
it gets
think
to
this
be
piece that we're going to be sharing
has the
today,
potential to be the
really
foundation
activating.
for
And it's
so
around
much more.
that
Like I
key
said, in your life
ingredient,
and in your
which
business.
is going to
And that's what I want to talk a little bit about today.
That does
so as you
activate
are writing your
abundance
book,
for you. And the reason
certainly
that
once it's out in the world, but it's really, really powerful
I'm really
to
freaking
start
passionate
feeling
about
into this
abundance
when you
and actually
are in
in
the
particular
writing process,
financial
even
abundance,
right from the beginning of your
getting
writing
into the
process.
hands of
Because then what you're
magical
doing
beings like
when you are
who
at least
doing incredible
open
work
to the
in the world.
possibility that
And
your book
I
can
want you
be
to be writing
part
the
of this
book your
greater
soul is calling
vision,
you to write,
even if you're not
and
clear on
expressing
what that might
whatever
be,
magic,
and it's
message,
most likely
medicine
that you're not
that you are
particularly
feeling
clear on that if you are
share,
early on
that
in
you
the
are
book
here
writing
to
process,
share.
even
And
if
I
you're a
want
far
that to be
way
an
into
abundant
it, to be
experience for you,
honest.
because I I know
but that's all
that
good.
when
It's
we
just
get
about being open to the
abundance
possibility,
into the
because
hands
then that is the
of
time when you kind of have
magical beings,
your
magical
antenna
women
up
like
and you're
you, it gets to
listening
flow. We
for
get to
those
circulate that
signals. You're
abundance. We
watching
get
for
to
the signs.
support
You are
ourselves and
paying
each other,
attention
and
to
we
the
get to change the
opportunities that are
world.
coming to
So
you.
this is big
And you
stuff.
can see how
So
this
listen
is
in
all part of your
to
book
this
writing
piece
experience.
today.
So I want to
What I
share
have to
some
share
personal
around
examples
like the
of
key
this.
ingredient
But
that's
before
going
I
to really
do
make a
that,
difference and
I
help you
just
to
want to
write in a
say
way
that
that activates
the
abundance.
idea that your book
And
kind of
let
is
me
part of this
know
greater
how it lands
vision,
with
and it
you.
gets to
Towards the end,
be
there's a
the
short
foundation for
kind of
other
meditation where I invite you
offerings
to
in your
tune
work.
in.
And
So,
I'm
obviously when you're listening
specifically,
to
I
that
guess,
piece, it's
speaking
only a couple
to
of minutes at the end,
those
but
of
make sure you're
you
somewhere
who
quiet where you won't be
already have
disturbed,
your
or come back
own
and listen to
business,
it
like some kind
later.
of
And yeah, I
business.
would
You
love to
are
know how it
showing up
lands
and
with
being of
you.
service
And
in
if
the
you're
world.
interested in
Maybe it's a
exploring this
service-based
further and
business.
really
I
writing in
know
this
a
way,
lot
in a way that
of
activates
listeners to
abundance,
this
I invite
podcast
you to
are
join us
coaches,
in the
healers,
next
mentors,
live round of the
space
Unbound Book
holders of some
Incubator,
kind.
which is starting
So
in
this
May.
is
You can see
really,
all the
really
details at
relevant for you. But also, like, if at the
nicolahumber.com/unbound
moment you don't
hyphen
have your own
book
business, maybe
hyphen
you're working
incubator.
in
I find it
corporate,
really hard to read
you're working in
URLs
some
there.
kind of job,
We'll make
working
sure
for
the link
somebody
is in the
else,
show
and
notes. But okay,
you
let's dive in.
can just feel that your book could be the first step on a journey to becoming self-employed, to starting your own business and showing up and being of service in some way in the world. So this episode is going to be relevant to you if you're in either of those positions at the moment. But I wanted to say that I don't want this to feel like a distraction from the writing process. So many of us unbound beings, certainly myself included, we're multifaceted. We have a lot of ideas. I personally, in terms of human design, I'm a manifesting generator, which means like I'm continually responding to the universe and ideas are dropping in all over the place. And it may well be the case for you as well. We can be getting a lot of downloads, feeling really inspired. It can almost be like this shiny object syndrome in terms of ideas. It's like, oh, I should go and do this. Oh, no, I need to do this. And that can be something that stops us from writing our books in the first place, because maybe we get started and then we drift off. So what I want you to do as we begin this episode is just to set your intention that experiencing your book as part of a greater vision, seeing your book as the foundation for other offerings, other creations that you get to make, is not taking you away from that core desire to write your book and share it with the world. Because there's something around actually moving through that process and getting to the point of completion, which activates kind of bringing this vision into form in a more powerful way. And just, as I'm saying that, it's really kind of a felt sense. So just allow yourself to feel into that, like your book being a really solid foundation for what else gets to be created, and for your unbound vision coming into form. Like I can really feel it with myself as I'm talking about that, how our books get to be the core of something greater, but we want to actually create that core. We want to bring that to a point of completion. So let me give you some examples, because, you may have some ideas sparking off already, but let me give you some specific examples. And I'll start with myself personally. So when I was writing my first book, Heal Your Inner Good Girl, I didn't particularly have a sense of it as being part of a greater whole. I knew that, it would probably take my work to a new level, like allowing myself to go on the journey and write the book. And I did, as I was writing it, I played with the idea of running some different workshops, like Heal Your Inner Good Girl workshops. It didn't really take off. It felt like something I was kind of bolting on to the experience. I think that's how it felt to me, even at the time. It wasn't particularly organic. It was just, oh, wow, like this feels like something I could do. So I wasn't really fired up about it. I wasn't really lit up about it. So I would say that process of writing the first book, because I was doing it in a more, I guess, linear way, I wrote that book in a more traditional way because that was the only way I knew at the time. Even though I was realizing, hang on, this isn't quite working for me. An amazing book came out of it. I'm so grateful for Heal Your Inner Good Girl. But like I said, at the time, I didn't really have this sense that it was part of a greater vision. It was part of this kind of evolution in my work, which looking back, it certainly was. But Heal Your Inner Good Girl very quickly led to Unbound, the second book. So I talk about the idea of the unbound self in Heal Your Inner Good Girl. And pretty much as soon as I finished writing that, I knew that there was another book that wanted to come, and that was Unbound. And it was when I started writing Unbound that really started to get this felt sense of something kind of more expansive wanting to come through. And to be honest, like that felt pretty uncomfortable. And it felt quite messy. Like with Unbound, there wasn't this clear, or when I started writing, it didn't feel like there was this clear thread or threads even that was coming through. It felt very disjointed, but I kind of trusted enough to go with that. And actually, it was through writing Unbound. I think I already had like a free Facebook group, but I really started to focus on that community, which is now the Unbound Collective over on Facebook. And as I was writing and trusting, I wrote a number of articles based on what was coming through in the book. That helped to grow my community quite substantially, even though I was still in this really unbound place and not really being clear on exactly what form the book was going to take. But towards the end of writing Unbound, it was probably about a year into the journey of writing it, I recognized that there were these 5 principles that were coming through very strongly. The 5 principles of living unbound, and how some kind of program could form around those. So that was the first kind of really solid kind of creation, like part of the vision that slotted into place. And it was a group program called Unbound You. I ran a free masterclass and invited people into that program where we dived into the 5 principles of living unbound. It was really amazing, actually. Maybe I could run it again. I don't know. I probably will in some form at some point. But the main part of the vision that dropped in through writing Unbound was completely unexpected. And that was this idea that I could support other women in particular to be writing transformational books. And that was something that was never, ever part of my vision. Like I never, ever imagined that I would be doing it. But that came in through the writing of Unbound, that second book. And then that really firmed up as I was writing the second book, Unbound Writing, How to Write the Transformational Book You're Really Here to Write. So, it was right at the end of writing Unbound when throughout the year I'd been writing it, or it was around 18 months in the end that it took to kind of really bring it into writing it and bringing it into form and releasing it into the world. But even throughout that writing process, people had been coming to me and saying, I can see you doing this. helping other women to write books, I had started to focus a bit more on visibility and how to express yourself more in a more unbound way, in order to share your work in the most powerfully. But actually, I'd always pushed away the writing piece. It was like, well, no, I can't do that because I haven't got enough experience. I'm not expert enough. But it was towards the end of writing Unbound, when I had the opportunity to start the Unbound Press, that part of the vision really dropped in. So my point here is, like, sometimes we don't know what the vision is going to look like, which sounds a bit strange because it's vision, isn't it? You feel like you're meant to have this really clear, like, visual sense of what it is. And sometimes we don't, but we can just feel that our books are part of a greater vision, that they are a doorway into whatever the next evolution is going to be. And sometimes we know what that is going to look like. And a lot of the time, particularly with these deeply transformational books, we don't know. So a big part of this is being open to what might come, and to following those breadcrumbs of inspiration. But the vision that has kind of evolved through the writing of Unbound, and Heal Your Inner Good Girl, because it paved the way. Unbound writing, like, is so much greater than I could possibly have imagined, and so different from what I could possibly have imagined, and this has led to this business now. It's interesting because, like, when I first started my online business and everyone was talking about, 6-figure businesses, and I really wanted that. It's like, oh my God, that would be amazing. And it never, ever happened until I started writing my books and following those breadcrumbs of inspiration. And now the Unbound Press, it is a 6-figure business and growing. So it shows what can happen when you really allow yourself to kind of step into the unbound vision that your book has for you. And I say that because we can try and force it. We can try and go, well, I think it should be this, so I'm going to try it. But the key here is really to listen to, or pay attention to, where your book wants to lead you, because it will tell you. And, as I say that, I'm thinking of one of the other Unbound Press authors, Tara Jackson, who will be a guest here in the Unbound Writers Club very soon, as her third book is coming out, Embodied Creation. And, her first book, she was one of the first members of the Unbound Writing Mastermind, was called Embodied. It was about kind of self-care and her journey around self-care, which was the work she was doing at the time. And then her books, like, each one has really helped her to evolve the work that she's doing in the world. And now she is very much focused on working with empathic entrepreneurs, soul-led entrepreneurs, doing amazing work. Like, Tara holds such a powerful space for them. And that's never something she expected when she was writing her first book, Embodied. She imagined that she would be carrying on that kind of health and well-being journey, but her books had something different in mind. And who knows what's going to come from Embodied Creation, because that is one potent book, I'm telling you. So there's something here around allowing ourselves to be guided, which can feel scary. Like, the whole idea of the unbound writing approach is that we allow ourselves to be in this place of receptivity and see what wants to come. And it's the same with the unbound vision, that your book is the seed for that. And it's almost like we're standing back and seeing what wants to grow. But there are ways that you can hold space for that. And like I said, part of it is following these breadcrumbs of inspiration, really trusting those ideas that drop in, because that is going to lead you to creating the vision that you are here to create. So if this is something that you want to explore some more, like, this is something that can actually create a lot of momentum in your book writing journey, because when you see your book as not just a book, but as this magical portal that has the potential to activate, like, massive expansion and abundance in your life. like you're going to feel more deeply connected with your book and anchored into your process. So in May, at the beginning of May, I am running the first of our monthly masterclasses. This is part of the new Unbound Writers Club membership. When you join, you get access to a monthly live masterclass and an Unbound Writing Circle in community with other magical Unbound beings. And the first masterclass in the Unbound Writers Club is connecting with the Unbound vision for your book. So I am going to be guiding you through a process. We're going to be doing a really powerful meditation to help you connect and tune into the most juicy Unbound vision for your book. And this can be either the book you're writing at the moment, it might be a book you've already written, it might be a book you're feeling called to write. Whatever stage of your process you're at, it's all perfect. So I'll be taking you through that guided meditation, and you will be getting a sense of what that Unbound vision looks like, feels like for you. And during the session as well, I'm also going to be helping you to tap into the 3 most powerful inspired actions you can take in May to start bringing your Unbound vision into form. Now, I'm not saying like the whole vision is going to drop in and you're going to create it in May. Like these things are continually evolving, but you will be really deeply anchored into whatever the vision is for you, whatever the vision is that your book is wanting to kind of lead you into. And you'll have a clear idea of the 3 most powerful inspired actions you can take in May. And we'll be taking those together, like in the Unbound Writers Club. So if you would like to join for that with the Unbound Writers Club, with this membership, you can either join on a month-by-month basis. So you can sign up for 1 month, you can cancel it at any time, or you can come along to every month's masterclass and writing circle, or you can sign up for a year and you get 2 months free when you do that. So whatever you decide, I do hope you'll just come join us for the May masterclass. You can see the details at nicolahumber.com/unbound-writers-club. We'll make sure the details are in the show notes. And imagine what would happen if we all allowed ourselves to step into the most unbound vision for our lives and our businesses, to really trust what's coming through and to follow that, to allow our books to guide us. Whew. We would create some powerful magic in the world. So let's do it.